is the equalization of property calculated in Ontario upon divorce? Hi, I'm Brian Galbraith. I'm the owner of Galbraith Family Law Professional Corporation. We're a law firm of divorce lawyers with offices in Barrie, Aurelia, and Newmarket. The calculation of an equalization payment is based on a formula. Basically, the formula is this: that the assets are calculated for both parties on the date of separation. You subtract from that the debts on the date of separation in each person's name, and then you subtract any assets or debts that each person had on the date of marriage, because you're sharing the increase in wealth during the course of the marriage. Lastly, you exclude any excluded assets such as gifts or inheritances or proceeds from a personal injury that are still in existence on the date of separation and are in a discrete piece of property or account. So it's separate, kept separate. That determines each party's net family property number, and then those numbers are equalized by way of a payment of money. So let me give you an example here. In this example, here's the husband's column, here's the wife's column. They jointly own the home. It's worth $400,000. So since it's jointly owned, it's $200,000 for each. They each have their own RSPs: $50,000 for him, $20,000 for her. They each have a car. His is worth $30,000. Hers is worth $10,000. So that's their assets on the date of separation: $280,000 versus $230,000. That's the first step. The second is you have to subtract the debts as of the date of separation. There is a mortgage. It's 50-50. And it's $100,000 in total, so it's shared between the two of them equally, 50-50. He has a car loan of $10,000 on his car, so that's down here. And then the taxes on the RSP, we've just in this case estimated them to be 20%. Depends on the circumstances what you would estimate them to be. So in this case, there's debt for the husband of $70,000 and $52,000 for the wife. That's going to be subtracted from the assets on the date of separation. The next step is to look at what was owned by each of them on the date of marriage. He owned a $40,000 car with a debt of $30,000 on it, so he gets to deduct $20,000. She had a $50,000 car with a $30,000 debt. She gets to deduct $20,000 because that's what each had on the date of marriage. Then the last is excluded property, and in this case the husband was given a gift of money which he used to purchase the car. The car is still in existence on the date of separation. It was kept in his name, so he gets to deduct $20,000. In this case, the wife had nothing that she could deduct. So now you just do the calculation. Assets on the date of separation: $280,000 for the husband. His debts were $70,000. He brought into the marriage $10,000. And he had excluded assets of $20,000. So his net family property is $180,000. Doing the same calculation for the wife, hers is $158,000. So obviously, if things were left the way they were on the date of separation, he would leave the marriage with $22,000 more in assets than her. So the Ontario Family Law Act says that those numbers should be equalized. So let's see the calculation. Here's the husband's net family property, $180,000. The wife's is $158,000. So the difference is $22,000. So to equalize that, the husband has to pay to the wife. So the husband pays the wife $11,000. That results in each party having net family property after the separation is completed of $169,000. That's equal. So that's what how the Family Law Act divides up property. Each person leaves with the property that's in their own name and debts that are in their own name. But by this process, the accumulated value during the course of the marriage is equalized. Some of the issues that arise are what is the fair market value of particular assets? Do you have any proof of the value of an asset? Do you have any proof of the debt? Was there any, what were the assets on the date of marriage? Can you prove that? Oftentimes there's no documentation to prove the assets or debts that were owned on the date of marriage. But what we do this sort of calculation every day. Our family law lawyers have a great knowledge of how the courts are deciding these sorts of situations, so we can help you do this calculation for your family and determine what the equalization payment would be. Sometimes clients will actually choose to trade assets so that they don't actually have to make an $11,000 payment. They would just say, look, you get more of my RSPs. We'll roll over more of my RSPs into your name. And you can do that on a tax-free basis. Or they might transfer switch vehicles so that it ends up that this calculation is roughly close to equal. And remember, this calculation is what the judges do if your matter goes to court, but you can negotiate whatever agreement works for you and for your family. So if this video has been helpful, give it a thumbs up or like it. Maybe share it with a friend. The next step for you would be to book a consultation with one of our lawyers so that we can help you look at your obligations and rights according to the Family Law Act and other legislation. The best way to do that is to go to our website, which is www.galbraithfamilylaw.com, and arrange to book a consultation with one of our lawyers in Barrie, Orillia, or Newmarket. I hope this has been helpful.